Good morning, everybody. Happy November. May this month, this 11th month, may it be a month of exceeding blessings in all of our lives. It's your girl Seeker in the house. I just wanted to share a story that I saw or listened to on social media. There was a man who had lived in America for many years. He was a truck driver, and because of that, he made good money. He had invested well, he'd bought a house in the States, and had fully paid for this house. He also had assets back in Africa. He was the only one who was able to travel abroad at a very tender age, and because he came from a family with nothing, he invested everything that he had, his youthfulness, all the strength that he had, to make sure that he took his family out of poverty. He's now getting to the 5th decade of his life and still not married, still no children. But he had been seeing a Black American woman for a number of years. So one day he calls his mom and says, "Mom, I've been seeing this Black American woman. I want to get married to her." Mom says, "Hell to the no. You're not marrying a foreigner. You're African. You must marry from your own home country. Find somebody like that where you are. If you can't find anybody, come back home. There's so many beautiful girls with good attitude, good upbringing that will make beautiful wives and give us very beautiful children. The culture would be instilled in the children. I want you to marry from your own home country." And so this man listened to his mom, tried to part ways with this Black American woman who was obviously very hurt because everything seemed to be perfectly fine between them. Why break something that is working? It even became a legal case, and he eventually had to part with some money and say goodbye to this woman painfully, but it had to be done. They said their goodbyes and became good friends with nothing untoward going on between them. He went to Africa and married, as his mom had suggested, a woman from his own home country, and brought this woman abroad to be with him. When she finally arrived, he threw a huge party. Invited all his friends, his male friends, to this party, introduced them all to his wife. The wife had been a nurse back in her home country before arriving to America. The man was so smitten by her. She was younger, educated, but also knew how to cook and keep a home as a wife. On the face of it, everything was fantastic between them. And because of all of this, he actually had a plot of land in a very astute part of his home country, which he had now changed all the legal documentation to this young woman's name. And also said, at the end of every month, I'm going to give you $1,500 US, $1,500 US every month to put aside. When it becomes significant, let's start building a house on this plot of land that I have given you so that you can also have something. This man continued his truck driving, and this truck driving would take him away from their marital home for several weeks at a time. But when he finally comes back, he will take a week or two off to rest, and then he goes off again, leaving the woman at home for several weeks. But because he'd been with his friend his friends for so many years, what happens is that the friends will pop in to the house when he's away to make sure that the wife was fine. And what they would normally do is, before they go to the house, they call him to say, "Oh, you know what, I'm just going to see our wife, make sure she's fine." When they arrive there and the wife has cooked food for them, she does a video chat with the husband. He sees them all sitting there happy, chatting nicely and eating. So on the face of it, there was nothing happening. They say their goodbyes and they leave. He was happy and comfortable with everything. He trusted his wife, he trusted his friends. There was nothing happening. Normally, when he goes off on his long trips and he comes back for his week or two's break, there's also a company not too far away from him that also do this same, loading things from one place and taking it to the other. And when there's an emergency and they don't have enough drivers, because they had worked for him in the past for many years, they've come to trust him, and they still had a working relationship. And so once a while, he would help them out, and they paid him in cash, and it was quite good money. So every so often, they'll call him and he'd go do the work. It wasn't anything, not natural or not beyond the usual that would go on with them. And so on one of such breaks that he was on at home with his wife, he fell asleep. And in the course of sleeping, that company had called him several times and even sent him emails that they needed him urgently to come pick up load and take it somewhere else. Eventually woke up and saw all the missed calls and the email, quickly got up, got dressed, called them and said he was on his way. But the person that he spoke to didn't know that that load had already been given to somebody else to take, because they couldn't reach him on time. And it was an emergency. So it was just about 5 to 10 minutes for him to arrive where he needed to pick the load, when the person in charge of that particular consignment calls him back to say, "Oh, bro, I'm really sorry. The load has already been given to somebody else. I'm really sorry for all the trouble that it has cost you to drive all this way. Guess what? Because we've worked with you for several years, we don't want all of that journey to be in vain. So we'll pay you half of what we would have given you if you had successfully taken this load from A to B." He agreed and decided to do the about face and head back home. But on his way back, he didn't tell his wife that he was coming back. So on getting to the house a few blocks down the road, he saw that his friend's car had been parked up the street a few blocks from his actual house. And he didn't understand. There was nobody in the car, but he didn't think anything of it. He drove up to his house, got out of the car, and walked up towards his own house. Tried to put the key in his front door, but it wasn't opening because there was a key from behind, from inside the house, and so he couldn't get in. But he could also use the back door. So he opened his garage and came into the house through the back door. And when he came to the living room, there was nobody sat there, but he could hear voices upstairs in her bedroom. And he thought to himself, why would there be anybody in my house with my wife and the person is not in our living room and I'm hearing voices upstairs? Like, this is so weird. He goes up to the bedroom, opens the bedroom door to find that friend whose car was parked on the street with his wife, busily eating each other, if you catch my drift. And there was a bottle of wine with 2 glasses on the side. In anger and rage, he picked up the bottle with the wine and smashed it against the wall, breaking it. And in his mind, he wanted to go straight for the guts of his wife. But thankfully, something restrained him inside. He left them, came downstairs, picked up a phone, called his brother, and told him what had happened. The brother impressed on him, "My brother, I know it hurts, but please, don't do anything that will end your life over here. Just dial 911 and let the legal people, let the lawyers, let the legal team," hello, Pastor Patience, how are you doing? "Let the legal team take charge of this and do what needs to be done." So he listens, he calls the police, they come in, and the man that was taking his wife dressed up and was escorted out of the house. Because of the anger and the rage that this man had, the security services advised him to also pack a bag and leave the house until he calms himself down. He is of sound mind and can make better, well-informed decisions about what he wants to do going forward. My darling brothers in the house, this whole concept that the only place that you can meet somebody that is a lifetime partner is to marry somebody from your own home country isn't always valid. It is not about the country that your life partner comes from. Happy great new month to you too, Pastor P. It's not about the home country that the pair of you come from that makes the difference. You are not marrying home countries. You are marrying attitude, behavior, a person's moral guiding principles, a person's godliness and their heart that they have inside of them. They are good and bad people that are foreigners. There are good and bad people that are your own people. Choose wisely. Don't base a decision on where people come from. Don't base a decision on where people come from. Base a decision on a person's attitude. Who knows? He had spent several years with this black American woman, and he never said anything about being unhappy. If he had stuck to this woman, he would have probably had peace of mind and clarity of thought. Somebody that understood his struggles, and they could have shared a life together. And my sisters, if you know that you're not in love with somebody, don't just look at opportunities and take advantage of opportunities when you know that your heart is not into the person that is giving you this opportunity. It is clear that this young girl from Africa didn't really love this man. He was a much older man, almost hitting 50. She was a nurse and she was much younger. If she cared about him that much, she wouldn't have done the things that she did. At the time of allowing this man's best friend to sleep with her, she was 4 months pregnant. And the husband had taken her to hospital, where it was revealed that this pregnancy that she had was twins. What is to say that the person who impregnated her was her actual husband and not this friend, or even another one, because there were lots of male friends that would come to the house. Anybody that sees their friend's wife and covets the wife, sleeps with the wife, woe unto you. Be satisfied and contented with your own lot in life. Anybody that tries to take advantage of situations, take advantage of people, use people, only to ride on people's back in a horrific manner, just to get ahead, let me tell you, the laws of nature, all the forces of the heavens and the earth will come after you. Now here's a poor woman, because of poor decisions, greed, and being evil. She's now going to be left pregnant with twins. What a way to start out your life. With all of this raining down curses upon yourself and the children that you brought forth. Did you even love yourself? Did you even love this pregnancy that you're carrying? See the shame and the embarrassment that comes with everything that you have done. If only my brother had listened to his heart and not what other people were telling him to do. Sometimes we get advice, but those pieces of advice are not advices that are going to help us in any way, shape, or form, but the things that are going to ruin our lives completely and take us out. Ask for the spirit of discernment. Know who God is for your own self. Listen to your own inner still voice and your own intuitions. Don't go chasing clout just because advice comes from your mom or your dad. Doesn't mean that it is the best advice. Now this man, a whole life shattered with pain, grief, and anguish. And if this man isn't able to receive the counseling and the therapy that he needs to be able to heal from this, he will bleed onto every other woman that he meets in his life because of one bad nut that has ruined the whole soup. I'm pleading with my sisters. Sometimes the things that some of my sisters do is so painful, it's so shameful, it's so embarrassing. Like, you think about them and you're like, oh my God, I never realized that this is how bad the streets have become. If you have dignity, self-respect of your own, you wouldn't mar your matrimonial bed with filth, uncalled for filth. If this man hadn't been wise enough or forgotten to tell his wife that he was coming home, this illicit affair would have gone on for years without him even knowing that right under his nose, his best friends are eating from the same pot that he eats from. Be fearful of the people you call friends. I listened to this story and I asked myself the question, why did the friends have to come to the house whilst he himself, who was the friend to them, was not there? Welfare check can still be done over the phone. If they really wanted to know, they could just call her. How are you doing? Is everything okay? Do you need anything? No, that's it. Do they have to show up? Do they not have women of their own? Why must they come to his house to have dinner, for her to cook, for them to eat? The heart of man is so desperately wicked. Desperately wicked. Mind the people that you spend your time with. Mind the people that you're calling friends. Be vigilant. Watch out for the signs. They are always there in the blueprint. But a lot of us are so switched off that we're not looking, we're not listening, we're not seeing what is going on behind closed doors. Only God is able to reveal the deepest, darkest things that other people can't see. Open your eyes. Ask for intuition. Ask for the power of discernment to be able to see the things that don't meet the eye, so that you can make informed decisions about your life and the things that are happening in it. I love you so much. Happy new month. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. It's a beautiful month, and I know that new things, blessings, untold blessings would reach every single one of you that are here, day in, day out, supporting, liking, sharing, commenting, your stars. Oh, I love you so much. Have a fantastic, fantastic day. Today is the day of my birth, the Wednesday. I love it so much. God bless you. Take care. Stay beautiful and listen to this story. I hope that it's taught you something. Never to trust anybody on face value. And Sister Lola, thank you so much for your stars. May the heavens give you everything that you desire in this month as we go towards the end of this year. I love you. Bye.